The perfect morning that wasn't. Arya stood in front of the mirror, her hands trembling as she adjusted the delicate lace on her wedding dress. Today was supposed to be the happiest day of her life. After waiting 23 years to find her fated mate, she had finally met Alpha Cade of the Silver Moon Pack 6 months ago. The mate bond had snapped into place the moment their eyes met, and Arya had believed with all her heart that this was destiny. The white dress hugged her gentle curves, and her long brown hair fell in soft waves down her back. She touched the silver pendant at her neck, a gift from her late mother, and whispered a prayer. "Mom, I wish you were here to see this. I found him. I found my mate." Her best friend, Maya, burst into the room with a bright smile. "Arya, you look absolutely beautiful. Cade is going to lose his mind when he sees you." But even as Maya spoke, Arya noticed something strange in her friend's eyes. Was that pity? Worry? "Maya, is something wrong?" Arya asked, her wolf stirring uneasily inside her. Maya hesitated, then shook her head quickly. "Nothing, just wedding day nerves. Come on. Everyone is waiting at the pack house." The Walk of Shame. The Silver Moon Pack House was decorated with white roses and silver ribbons. Hundreds of pack members had gathered to witness their alpha's wedding. Arya's heart pounded with excitement and nervousness as she walked through the grand entrance. Her father's arm linked with hers. But something felt wrong. The crowd was too quiet. People were whispering, their eyes filled with something that looked like sympathy. Arya's wolf began to pace anxiously inside her mind. "Dad, why is everyone staring like that?" Arya whispered. Her father, Beta Marcus, squeezed her hand gently. "Stay strong, princess. Whatever happens, remember that you are stronger than you know." His words made no sense, but before Arya could ask what he meant, she reached the altar. And there, waiting for her, was Alpha Cade. Tall, powerful, with dark hair and striking blue eyes, he was every bit the perfect mate. But he wasn't looking at her with love. He was looking at her with cold indifference. And beside him stood another woman. The other woman. Selene was everything Arya was not. Tall where Arya was petite. Sophisticated where Arya was simple. Confident where Arya was shy. She wore a stunning red dress that clung to her model-like figure, and her blonde hair was styled perfectly. She stood right next to Cade, her hand possessively on his arm. "Cade!" Arya's voice came out as a whisper. "What's going on? Who is she?" Cade's jaw tightened. He looked at Arya, and for a moment, she saw conflict in his eyes. But then Selene leaned in and whispered something in his ear, and his expression hardened. "Arya," Cade said, his voice cold and formal. "I need to speak with you. Here, now, in front of the pack." Arya felt her world beginning to tilt. This wasn't how this was supposed to go. "Cade, please, can we talk privately?" "No." His single word was like a knife to her heart. "The pack needs to witness this. Arya, I have made a decision. After much thought and consideration for what is best for the Silver Moon Pack, I have decided that you are not suitable to be my Luna." The gasps from the crowd echoed in Arya's ears. She felt her father's hand tighten on her arm, steadying her. "What? Cade, we're mates. The bond. The mate bond is not enough," Cade interrupted, his blue eyes ice cold. "A Luna needs to be strong, confident, and capable of leading beside her alpha. You are too weak, too soft, too simple. Selene is a born leader. She comes from the Blood Moon Pack's royal line. She is everything this pack needs." The rejection ceremony. Tears streamed down Arya's face, but she couldn't look away from Cade. This couldn't be happening. This had to be a nightmare. "Cade, please," she begged, her voice breaking. "Don't do this. We're fated mates. This will hurt both of us." "I am willing to endure the pain for the good of my pack," Cade said firmly. Then he took a deep breath and spoke the words that would shatter Arya's world. "I, Cade Blackwood, Alpha of the Silver Moon Pack, reject you, Arya Monroe, as my mate and future Luna." The pain was immediate and excruciating. Arya felt like someone had reached into her chest and ripped her heart out. The mate bond, That beautiful golden thread that had connected her to Cade began to tear apart. She fell to her knees, clutching her chest, unable to breathe. "Say it," Cade commanded coldly. "Accept the rejection so we can both move forward." Arya looked up at him through her tears. The man she loved, the man she had believed would love her forever, was looking at her like she was nothing, like she meant nothing. "Why?" she whispered. "Why are you doing this? Because you are not good enough?" Celine spoke for the first time, her voice dripping with false sympathy. "Cade needs a real woman by his side, not a little girl playing dress-up. Accept the rejection with dignity, Arya. Don't embarrass yourself further." The acceptance. Bride. That's what finally made Arya speak. She would not beg. She would not crawl. If Cade wanted to throw away their bond, then she would let him. Arya stood up slowly, ignoring the searing pain in her chest. She looked Cade directly in the eyes and spoke clearly, her voice steady despite the tears on her face. "I, Arya Monroe, accept your rejection, Cade Blackwood." The final snap of the bond brought her to her knees again. This time, the pain was so intense that she blacked out for a moment. When her vision cleared, she saw Cade stumbling slightly, his hand on his chest. Good. Let him feel pain too. But then Celine was there, supporting him, whispering in his ear. And Cade's moment of regret, if it had been regret at all, vanished. "You are dismissed," Cade said to Arya, not even looking at her. "You have until tomorrow to gather your belongings and leave Pack territory." The silent walk. Arya's father helped her to her feet. The crowd parted as they walked through, and Arya could feel everyone's eyes on her. Some looked sympathetic. Others looked pleased. A few even smirked. This was the most humiliating moment of her life, walking through the Pack house in a wedding dress, rejected and broken. Maya was waiting outside, tears streaming down her face. "Arya, I'm so sorry. I tried to warn you. But you knew." Arya's voice was hollow. "You knew this was going to happen? I heard rumors this morning, but I didn't believe them. I thought surely Cade wouldn't." Maya broke down crying. "I'm so sorry. I should have said something." Arya couldn't even be angry. She was too numb, too broken. Her father drove her home in silence, his jaw clenched with barely controlled rage. "I should challenge him," Marcus growled. "I should tear him apart for what he did to you." "No, Dad," Arya said quietly. "He's the alpha, and he made his choice. I won't have you risk your life for my broken heart." The secret. That night, Arya lay in her childhood bedroom, staring at the ceiling. Her body still ached from the severed mate bond. Wolves rarely survived rejection. The pain could drive them mad or kill them slowly. But Arya had something that kept her fighting, kept her holding on. She was pregnant. Arya had discovered it 3 days ago. She had planned to tell Cade after the wedding, imagining his joy and excitement. Now that dream was ashes. But the life growing inside her was real, was hers, and she would protect it with everything she had. She couldn't stay here. If Cade found out about the baby, he might take it from her. Or worse, he might force her to get rid of it, claiming it would complicate things with Celine. No, Arya would not give him that chance. The planning. Maya came to visit late that night, climbing through Arya's window like they used to do as teenagers. "I have a plan," Maya whispered. "My cousin lives in the human city, 300 miles from here. She's offered to take you in. You can start over there, away from all this Pack politics and drama." The human city? Arya had never been that far from home. "Maya, I don't know if I can." "You're stronger than you think," Maya insisted. "And you need to get away from here. I heard Celine and Cade talking. They're getting married next week. Celine wants to make sure you're gone before then, and she's pressuring Cade to strip you of your Pack membership entirely. If that happens, you'll be a rogue. No protection, no rights, nothing." Arya's hand moved protectively to her stomach. "When can we leave?" "Tomorrow night. Pack only what you can carry. My cousin will meet us at the border." The goodbye. The next day, Arya moved through the house like a ghost, packing her few precious belongings. Photos of her mother, the silver pendant, some clothes, her favorite books. Everything that mattered fit into 2 bags. Her father found her in the afternoon. "You're leaving." It wasn't a question. "I have to, Dad. I can't stay here and watch him with her. I can't." Her voice broke. Marcus pulled his daughter into a tight hug. "I know, Princess. I know. And I won't stop you. But promise me you'll be safe. Promise me you'll come back someday. Stronger and ready to show them all what you're made of." "I promise," Arya whispered. But she couldn't tell him about the baby. Not yet. He would try to fight for custody rights, would cause problems that might endanger them all. The escape. At midnight, Arya met Maya at the edge of Pack territory. The Silver Moon Pack's borders were guarded, but Maya knew a back route through the forest that the guards rarely patrolled. "Are you sure about this?" Maya asked one last time. Arya looked back at the Pack house in the distance. Somewhere in there, Cade was probably sleeping peacefully next to Celine, not giving a second thought to the woman he had destroyed. "I'm sure," Arya said firmly. "Let's go." They ran through the forest in wolf form, moving quickly and quietly. Arya's wolf was grieving, whimpering with the pain of the broken bond. But she was also angry. That anger gave Arya strength. At the border, a small car was waiting. A young woman with Maya's same bright eyes stepped out. "You must be Arya," she said kindly.
"I'm Sarah.
"Welcome to your new life." The last look. As the car pulled away, Arya took one last look at the Silver Moon Pack territory. She had been born here, raised here, had expected to die here as an old woman. Now she was leaving with nothing but 2 bags and a secret growing inside her. "Are you okay?" Sarah asked gently. Arya placed her hand on her stomach, feeling the tiny flutter of life there. She thought about the future, about raising a child alone, about building a new life from nothing.
"No," Arya answered honestly.
"But I will be, and someday I'll come back. Not as the rejected mate, not as the weak girl who couldn't be Luna. I'll come back as someone he won't recognize. Someone powerful. Someone who will make him regret every word he said to me today." Sarah smiled. "That's the spirit. Now let's get you to the city. Your new life is waiting." As the car drove into the night, Arya made a silent vow. She would survive this. She would raise her child. She would become strong. And one day, Alpha Cade Blackwood would realize exactly what he had thrown away. But by then, it would be too late. 5 years later, the rain pelted against the floor-to-ceiling windows of the penthouse office. Arya stood looking out at the human city spread below her, a glass of wine in her hand. Behind her, on the massive desk, were papers marking the latest acquisition of her company, Monroe Enterprises. "Ms. Monroe, your 4 o'clock appointment is here." Her assistant's voice came through the intercom. "Send them in," Arya replied, her voice confident and controlled. She caught her reflection in the window. Gone was the simple, shy girl who had been rejected 5 years ago. In her place stood a powerful businesswoman in a designer suit, her hair cut in a sleek style, her bearing radiating authority. The door opened, and Arya turned with a professional smile. "Good afternoon. Thank you for coming all this way to meet with." She stopped. Her smile froze, because standing in her office doorway, looking just as shocked as she felt, was Alpha Cade Blackwood. And from the way his eyes widened and his face paled, he had just realized that the powerful CEO he had come to negotiate with was the mate he had rejected 5 years ago. The mate who had vanished without a trace. The mate who was supposed to have been broken and defeated. Instead, here she stood, more powerful than he could have ever imagined. "Hello, Cade," Arya said smoothly, her voice showing none of the chaos she felt inside. "It's been a while, hasn't it? Please sit down. We have much to discuss about this business deal. And trust me, you're going to want to hear my terms." The frozen moment. The silence in Arya's office stretched like a living thing. Cade stood frozen in the doorway, his blue eyes wide with shock. Behind him, his beta, Jackson, looked confused, clearly not understanding why his alpha had suddenly turned to stone. "Alpha," Jackson prompted quietly, Is everything all right? Cade couldn't speak. He couldn't move. He couldn't breathe. Because standing in front of him, looking like a completely different person, was Arya, his rejected mate. The woman who had disappeared 5 years ago without a trace. The woman he had searched for desperately in those first few months, only to be told she had left the werewolf territories entirely. The land surrounding your proposed resort location. Without our cooperation, your project cannot move forward. I assume that's why you've come all this way to negotiate in person. Yes, Kate said tightly. We're prepared to offer a very generous price for the land rights. I'm sure you are. Arya's smile was sharp. However, I'm not particularly interested in selling. You see, I've been considering developing that land myself. A competitor resort, perhaps. Or maybe a nature preserve that would prevent any commercial development in the area. Cade felt anger flash through him. That's petty and vindictive. That's business, Mr. Blackwood, Arya corrected coolly. Surely as an alpha, you understand the importance of strategic positioning. I hold the cards here. The question is, what are you willing to offer to make me play the hand you want? Jackson cleared his throat. Ms. Monroe, perhaps we could discuss a partnership instead? Monroe Enterprises and Silver Moon Pack could develop the resort together. Shared profits, shared decision-making. For the first time, Arya looked genuinely interested. Now that's an intriguing proposal. Tell me more. As Jackson laid out the details of a potential partnership, Arya listened carefully, asking intelligent questions and making sharp observations. Cade found himself staring at her, trying to reconcile this powerful, confident woman with the girl he had known. She had changed everything about herself. Her hair was shorter, styled in a sleek bob. Her clothes were expensive and professional. Her makeup was perfect, but it was more than the physical changes. She carried herself differently. She spoke differently. She was different. What do you think, Alpha? Jackson asked, pulling Cade back to the present. I think we need to discuss this privately before making any commitments, Cade said, his eyes still on Arya. Arya nodded. Of course. Jackson, would you mind waiting in the lobby? I have some additional matters to discuss with Mr. Blackwood anyway. The truth comes out. Once Jackson had left, closing the door behind him, the professional mask slipped slightly from Arya's face. But she didn't soften. If anything, she became harder, colder. So, Cade said, leaning back in his chair. Arya Monroe, CEO of Monroe Enterprises. When did this happen? About 4 years ago, Arya replied. I started with a small investment company, made some smart choices, built it up. Turns out I'm quite good at business. Who knew? Her voice was bitter. Certainly not you. You thought I was too weak, too simple to be a Luna. Guess you were wrong about that. Cade felt shame wash over him. Arya, Don't. She cut him off sharply. Don't apologize. Don't explain. Don't try to make this about anything other than business. You made your choice 5 years ago. You chose Celine. You rejected me in front of the entire pack. You told me I wasn't good enough. Fine. I accepted it. I moved on. And now here we are, and guess what? I'm the one with the power this time. Is that what this is about? Cade asked, anger rising. Revenge? You're going to sabotage my resort project because you're still angry about the rejection? Angry? Arya laughed. But there was no humor in it. Oh, Cade, I'm way past angry. Anger is what I felt 5 years ago. What I feel now is indifference. You're just another business client to me. The fact that you're my ex-mate is irrelevant. You're lying, Cade said softly. I can see it in your eyes. You still feel something. Of course I feel something, Arya snapped. I feel satisfaction. I feel vindicated. I feel proud that I proved you wrong. But what I don't feel is love or pain or longing or any of the things you're probably hoping I feel. The mate bond is broken, Cade. You saw to that. And I've built a life without you. A good life. A powerful life. The bombshell. Before Cade could respond, there was a knock on the door. Arya's assistant, a young woman with kind eyes, poked her head in. Ms. Monroe, I'm so sorry to interrupt, but there's an emergency. The school called. Leo fell on the playground. They say he's okay, just a scraped knee, but he's asking for you. Arya was on her feet immediately, all business forgotten. Tell them I'm on my way. Cancel my remaining appointments for the day. Of course. The assistant disappeared. Arya grabbed her purse and coat, moving toward the door. But Cade was blocking her path, his face pale. Leo? He asked quietly. You have a child? Arya met his eyes steadily. Yes, my son. He's 5 years old. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to get to him. 5 years old? Cade repeated, his mind racing. Arya, is he? Move, Cade, Arya said firmly. We can continue this discussion another time. Right now, my son needs me, and that's more important than any business deal or any conversation with you. But Cade didn't move. His eyes searched her face, looking for the truth. Is he mine? Arya, do I have a son? The silence that followed was answer enough. The chase. Arya pushed past Cade, her heels clicking sharply on the marble floor as she strode toward the elevator. But Cade was right behind her, his longer legs eating up the distance easily. Arya, wait. You can't just drop that bomb and walk away. Watch me. Arya shot back, jabbing the elevator button repeatedly. If Leo is my son, I have a right to know. I have a right to meet him. You have no rights, Arya said coldly, finally turning to face him. You gave up any rights when you rejected me. You didn't want me, remember? I wasn't good enough. Well, guess what? My son is mine. I raised him alone. I've been his mother and his father for 5 years. You don't get to waltz in now and claim him just because your pride is hurt. The elevator doors opened, and Arya stepped inside. Cade followed. That's not fair, he said quietly. Fair. Arya's voice rose. You want to talk about fair? Was it fair that you rejected me on our wedding day? Was it fair that you chose Celine over your fated mate? Was it fair that you sent me away, stripped me of my pack, and never once tried to find out if I was okay? Don't talk to me about fair. Cade Blackwood. The school. Cade followed Arya to her car, ignoring her protests. I'm coming with you. If Leo is my son, I need to see him. This is kidnapping, Arya muttered. But she didn't physically try to stop him. Maybe part of her knew this moment was inevitable. Maybe part of her wanted him to meet Leo, just to see the realization of what he had missed. The drive to the private school was tense and silent. When they arrived, Arya practically ran into the building, heading straight for the nurse's office. And there, sitting on the examination table with a bandage on his knee, was a little boy. He had Arya's dark hair and delicate features. But he had Cade's blue eyes, his strong jaw, his stubborn chin. There was no mistaking it. This child was his son. Mommy! Leo's face lit up when he saw Arya. I fell, but I was brave. I only cried a little bit. Oh, baby, Arya said, pulling him into a hug. I'm so proud of you. Let me see your knee. It was only then that Leo noticed Cade standing in the doorway. The boy's blue eyes, so much like his father's, studied Cade with curiosity. Who's that? Leo asked.
Arya froze.
Cade held his breath. This moment, this question would change everything. The introduction. This is a friend of mine, Arya said carefully. His name is Cade. Hi, Leo said with the easy friendliness of a 5-year-old.
I'm Leo.
I'm 5 3/4. Do you have a kid who goes to this school too? No, Cade said, his voice rough with emotion. I don't. But I'm very happy to meet you, Leo. Leo smiled, then winced as the nurse adjusted his bandage. It doesn't hurt too bad. Mom says I'm tough like her. I bet you are, Cade said, moving closer. Up close, the resemblance was even more striking. This was his son, his child, 5 years old, and he hadn't even known he existed. After the nurse cleared Leo to leave, Arya gathered his backpack and jacket. Come on, baby. Let's get you home. Can Cade come with us? Leo asked innocently. He seems nice. Arya's eyes met Cade's over Leo's head. There was a warning in them, a clear message. Don't you dare tell him. I'm sure Cade is very busy, Arya started to say. Actually, Cade interrupted. I have some time. If it's okay with your mom, I'd love to spend a little more time with you, Leo. The truth must wait. In Arya's car, Leo chattered happily about his day at school, about his friends, about the book he was reading. Cade sat in the back seat with him, soaking in every detail, memorizing his son's face, his voice, his mannerisms. When they arrived at Arya's house, a beautiful modern home in a safe neighborhood, Leo ran inside ahead of them. The moment he was out of earshot, Cade grabbed Arya's arm. We need to talk. Now. Not here, Arya said. Not in front of him. He doesn't know about werewolves. He doesn't know about you. And I'm not ready to explain any of this to him yet. When were you planning to tell me? Cade asked, his voice tight with controlled anger. Were you ever going to tell me I had a son? I don't know, Arya admitted. Part of me wanted you to know. Part of me wanted you to feel the loss of missing his first words, his first steps, his first day of school. But mostly I just wanted to protect him. From you. From the pack. From the world that rejected us. I would never hurt him, Cade said fiercely. You already did, Arya replied quietly. When you rejected me, you rejected him too. He just doesn't know it yet. A message from the past. Before Cade could respond, his phone buzzed. It was a message from Jackson. Alpha, there's been an incident. Celine is here at the hotel asking for you. Says it's urgent. Something about territory disputes. Cade cursed under his breath. He had forgotten about Celine completely, his wife of 4 years, the woman he had chosen over Arya. You need to go, Arya said, reading his expression. Your Luna is calling. She's not. Cade started, then stopped. What could he say? Celine was his wife. She was his Luna. He had made that choice 5 years ago. Go, Cade, Arya said more gently. Leo and I have our own life here. We've been fine without you for 5 years. We'll be fine for a few more days while you figure out what you want to do. I want to know my son, Cade said firmly. Then prove it, Arya challenged. Prove that you're ready to be his father. Prove that you won't break his heart like you broke mine. Prove that you're worth the risk of letting you into his life. Because if you think you can just show up and claim him because of biology, you're wrong. He has a life. He has stability. He has love. What can you offer him besides confusion and complications? The hard questions. Cade had no answer for that. What could he offer? He was married to another woman. He lived in a pack 300 miles away. He had duties, responsibilities, a life that didn't include a son he didn't know existed. I don't know, he admitted, but I want to figure it out. Arya, please, give me a chance. Let me get to know him. Let me be part of his life. I'll think about it, Arya said. But Cade, if you do this, you're all in. No walking away when it gets hard. No choosing your pack or your wife over him. No more rejections. He's a child. He's innocent. And he deserves better than a father who might leave. I won't leave, Cade promised. That's what you said to me too, Arya reminded him. And look how that turned out. She walked into her house, leaving Cade standing on the driveway, his mind spinning with revelations and regrets. He had a son, a 5-year-old boy who didn't know his father existed. And he had no idea how to fix any of this. The investigation. Cade drove back to the hotel in a daze. When he arrived, Celine was waiting in the lobby, looking as perfect as always. But for the first time, Cade looked at her and felt nothing.
No attraction. No affection.
Just emptiness. Finally, Celine said, standing up, where have you been? We need to talk about the Moonstone Pack's border issues. Not now, Celine, Cade said, walking past her toward the elevator. Celine hurried after him. What do you mean, not now? Cade, what's wrong? You've been acting strange since you got back from that meeting. Did the negotiation not go well? Cade jabbed the elevator button harder than necessary. The negotiation went fine. But I found something else. Someone else. What are you talking about? The elevator doors opened, and Cade stepped inside. Celine followed, her perfectly manicured nails tapping impatiently against her designer handbag. I found Arya, Cade said flatly. The color drained from Celine's face. What? That's impossible. She left the territories 5 years ago. No one has heard from her. She's here, in this city. She's the CEO of Monroe Enterprises. And Celine. Cade turned to look at his wife. She has a son. My son. 5 years old. Celine's eyes widened, and for just a moment, Cade saw something flash across her face. Was that fear? Guilt? That's ridiculous, Celine said quickly. She's probably lying, trying to trap you or get money from you. You can't possibly believe. He looks exactly like me, Cade interrupted. Same eyes, same face. He's mine, Celine. And she's been raising him alone for 5 years because I rejected her. You rejected her for good reason, Celine said sharply. She was weak. She wasn't suitable to be Luna. We made the right choice. We. Cade's voice was dangerously quiet. You mean I made the choice, based on your advice, based on your whispers in my ear? Tell me, Celine, why were you so determined to get rid of Arya? The confession. Celine's mask slipped further. I was thinking of the pack, of what was best for Silver Moon. No, Cade said, pieces clicking together in his mind. You were thinking of yourself. You wanted to be Luna. You wanted the power, the prestige. And Arya stood in your way. So what if I did? Celine snapped, her true nature finally showing. I would have been a better Luna than her. I am a better Luna than her. I've helped you manage the pack for 4 years. I've made alliances, strengthened our borders, increased our wealth. What has Arya done? She survived, Cade said quietly. She survived rejection, heartbreak, and raising a child alone. She built a company from nothing. She became powerful in her own right. And she did it all without me. The elevator doors opened on their floor, and Cade stepped out. But before Celine could follow, he turned back to her. I want to know everything. Every conversation you had with Arya before the rejection. Every doubt you planted in my mind. Every lie you told to turn me against my own mate. And if I find out you manipulated me, if I find out you sabotaged my bond with Arya for your own gain, then you and I are going to have a very serious problem. Celine's face went pale, but her chin lifted defiantly. You can't prove anything. I don't need to prove it, Cade said. I can feel it. I can feel the truth of it in my bones. You played me, Celine, and I was too blind, too stupid, too focused on duty to see it. But I see it now. The phone call. That night, Cade couldn't sleep. He lay in bed in his hotel room, staring at the ceiling, thinking about Arya and Leo, his son. He had a son he had never held, never hugged, never tucked into bed. Finally, around midnight, he gave in and called Marcus, Arya's father. The old beta answered on the 3rd ring. Alpha, Marcus said, his voice wary. This is unexpected. You knew, Cade said without preamble. You knew Arya was pregnant when she left. There was a long silence. Then Marcus sighed. Yes, I knew. Why didn't you tell me? Because you had just rejected my daughter in front of the entire pack, Marcus said, anger creeping into his voice. You told her she wasn't good enough. You broke her heart. Why would I tell you about the baby? So you could take him from her? So you could make her feel even more worthless? I would never. You already did, Cade. You already broke her. And she was strong enough to leave, to survive, to build a new life. I wasn't going to let you destroy that. I wasn't going to let you hurt my grandson. Cade felt the weight of his choices crushing down on him. I made a mistake. Yes, you did, Marcus agreed. A massive, life-altering mistake. And now you have to live with it. I want to fix it, Cade said desperately. I want to know my son. I want to make things right with Arya. You can't make it right, Marcus said bluntly. You can apologize. You can try to be a good father to Leo. You can support Arya, but you can't undo the past 5 years. You can't give her back the nights she cried herself to sleep. You can't give Leo back the father figure he should have had from birth. Some things can't be fixed, Cade. They can only be endured and learned from. The line went dead. Marcus had hung up. Cade sat in the darkness of his hotel room, feeling more alone than he had in his entire life. The decision. Over the next 3 days, Cade tried to focus on work, on the business negotiations, on anything but the truth that was staring him in the face. But every time he closed his eyes, he saw Leo's face. Every quiet moment was filled with the echo of Arya's words. Prove that you're worth the risk. Jackson noticed his alpha's distraction. On the 3rd day, he finally asked, "Do you want to talk about what's really going on? Because you've been checking your phone every 5 minutes and staring off into space during meetings."